Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Minimoon, Rini here, and today I want to talk about how it would have been like if PBS would have picked up our show. Now keep in mind, PBS did have deals with all kinds of drawing shows. Some of them that, never got picked, didn't make it the standards of other folk works. If our show would have got picked up by them, it would be more skimmed than it was if WB, UPN, USA, or Cartoon picked our shows up. Since PBS likes to behave like they're kin friendly, if you overlook the two double standards that they did with the Dick Tracy film, you can tell where we're leading here. They do got a double standard. They were happy with all the shit that was going on in Dick Tracy's world, and the forgiveness they told themselves was, hey, well, it's the 4-1 ranks, 1920s, 1930s, Then once Miss Fisher's Slaying Unknowns came along, those same folks in the gathering that loved Dick Tracy hated Franny Fisher. Look at her, she's sleeping around, she's smoking, she's driving fast cars, she got anger binds. Can't have that. And they spent 3 years fighting to get it off. So that's what they would have done to our show. The double standard would have come in. Oh, so Sailor Moon is from Dawnland. Lovely. Then as soon as they saw all of the things that were being said and all the things that were being done, they would have freaked out, and it would have been more skimmed than it was by Deacon Disney. First thing they would have said is, no, we can't have any of the fighting, so yeah, that would have been gone. And I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about what happened, how, Deke skimmed out some of the fighting, yeah. At least when it came to when we were fighting the Fiends, you saw the strikes going on. TBS would have said, no, no. PBS would have said, nah, we can't even have the strikes, it's too much. And they would find some way to skim that. They would have freaked out over the unstraight folks. I kid you not, that would have been something else they would have done. They would have come up with some really good way to skim Zoisite out of the whole show altogether. Instead of shifting Zoisite to a woman like Disney and Deke did. They would have seeked some way to, take Amara and Michelle out if they could. And don't get me started with Fish's Eye. They would have synced some way to undo her. Unlike, Pioneer Pathseeker making her a he, a she. And PBS likes to put this fake likeness on themselves. They like to go around and tell folks, oh, we're non-income, but they're getting gouged from the law moat on top of the supposed gough they get from backers. Oh, no one owns us. That's bullshit. The PBS, leading gathering or leadership gathering owns PBS. Yeah, it's owned by a team of folks, all right? Don't let them bullshit you. At the end of the day, they would have really seek some way to make our show worse. And a lot of folks bitch about how Disney and Deke handled the first two followings of my show. Well, PBS would have come up with some way to make would skim it worse than what Deke or Disney did with it. So be thankful that PBS never won the bid for it, because if they did, everything you liked about Deke Sailor Moon would have not been the same. And you're like, well, all right, Sailor Mini Moon, Sailor Small Moon, Sailor Little Moon, Rini, how do you know what they would or would not had skimmed? Well, the way they behave. Let's go back to the double standards again, folks. The Dick Tracy film came out in 1992 or 1993, well, something like that. And everyone was like, Dick Tracy's the shit. And what was going on in Dick Tracy's world? There was all kinds of misdeeds going on. Folks getting shot. Some woman liked to flirt. And it was applied. It was shown, like it was said in the show, that she did, love-making things. And PBS ate the shit out of it. They loved it. They got a deal. They looked the other way. These same folks from 2012 to 2013, whatever, these same folks, when they got the deal for Miss Fisher's slaying unknowns, these same folks could not hold on to a double standard. Why? Oh, well, it's a Southernland show. It's not a 4-1 Reich show. Oh, well, she sleeps around. She smokes. Those are two bad things. Oh my God, look, she's careless. You see how she's driving? I kid you not. That would have been a double standard. And if you think that the fighting between Ray and Serena, or myself with Serena, would have been kept, think again. PBS would have freaked out and come up with some way to skim every scene where Serena and Ray were having some kind of rile, which, happened a lot in the first and 2 with followings, and sometimes in the 3 with and 4 followings, all right? So, everyone be thankful that PBS did not win the rights to have anything to do with it, because they would have skimmed it a lot more than Disney and Deke did when they were working with it. I'll see you all later.